Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular meeting, March 19, 2013, 6:30 p.m. City Attorney will start off with your closed session report.
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss public employee performance evaluation. City Manager Oscar Rodriguez participated via conference call. Direction was given, no reportable action was taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Please note the attendance. All council members are here. May we please start off with the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Tony Garcia. Could you please lead us? Thank you, Tony. May I please have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Mayor, I just wanted to make one change from staff's perspective. Item 4 will be pulled from this agenda and resubmitted at a subsequent agenda.
Item 4, from the consent agenda, approval of the resolution approving the MOU?
Yes.
Okay. Who just gave me that?
I will approve the agenda with that item pulled.
Second.
Thank you. First by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim? Okay, a lot of housekeeping going on today. Sorry about that. Did you have a comment, Mr. Kim? Sure. Gabby? Did you get more sheets?
It's not my day today. My name is pulled down by someone, and now microphone not working. And
Did you want to say something, Mr. Kim?
Yes,
Because we were
because-
just voting
Which one?
on the approval of the agenda.
Yes, I like to pull the 1, 2, 3.
We just took a vote. It's either aye or, because
Yes,
we already had
you
them.
didn't give me any chance.
But that was not approving the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Are you just
Approval
wanting?
agenda.
Yes, sir. We're way
Okay.
at the beginning. Thank you, Mr. Kim. 5-0. We are now at the presentation part of this agenda. And we're going to start with item A. Is there someone here from the Imperial Irrigation District? Guess not. Okay, so I guess the presentation by the IID with regard to the copper theft. I think this is the second time they're on our agenda. Okay, Gabby, it's the second time they're on our agenda. Okay, so we won't have that presentation tonight. Then now we're going to jump over to our presentation B, presentation by the Calexico Neighborhood House concerning free house business workshops. Is that going to be you, Mr. Araujo? Okay, come on in. Come on up to the podium. Sure. Go ahead.
Somebody operates the
Yeah, on and off switch. Gabby.
Check one. Check.
Okay, we do apologize. Mr. Araujo apologizes. He has been here since 4 o'clock, he says, checking out to make sure it works, but sometimes equipment does not cooperate. So we're going to go ahead and do this presentation verbally. Sorry about that.
Okay. Not my day either, Mr. Kim. All right, we'll
If
do
you could
it
turn
up.
on the lights again, I'm sorry. And let all our council members come back so we can listen to you, and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Honorable Mayor, council, and staff, my name is Hector Araujo, Director for the Microbusiness Service Center, Neighborhood House, 721 Cesar Chavez Boulevard in Calexico. I come before you today to give a brief 3-minute presentation on the project and services that Neighborhood House offers free of charge to the public. Then at the end, I'll answer any questions you may have. I'm a Calexico local, went to school here, property owner and businessman. I take pride in my community, so this is what we're doing to give back. We have been offering these classes for over 5 years now, free of charge. In January, based on community feedback, we developed a curriculum specifically tailored to meet the needs of this community. All you can agree that Calexico is unique. Our community is different than others and requires a specialized curriculum. We understand that and take that into consideration when developing these workshops. Prior to this, we used to present a 6-week session. Unfortunately, some of the topics covered did not relate to everyone's needs. So we developed a curriculum comprised of modules in which you can pick and choose the topics that interest you. With this new format, we have received a tremendous response from the public, with over 123 specific workshop enrollments in March alone. The response has been overwhelming. We already have a waiting list for some of the classes. We also perform satisfaction surveys after each of the workshops, and the feedback has been very positive. We offer the following small business sessions, which are crucial to any small business or micro business person to understand. We offer 8 classes: planning your business, business license and legal requirements, selling skills, marketing for your business, business record keeping and financial reports, which we're actually holding right now, social media and Facebook for business, and understanding your credit, and QuickBooks. So in total, 8 separate workshop sessions are held. Attendees can then schedule a one-on-one session to discuss the topics more in depth. In addition, a certificate of completion is presented to each attendee. We had pictures of the graduating classes, which I wanted to share with you, but unfortunately, that did not happen today. In addition to these workshops, we offer consulting assessments, the use of our fully furnished technology center, and assistance in funding and obtaining your business license. We do all of this with contributions from Health and Human Services, City Foundation, Wells Fargo, and the IID. And you may be asking, well, why are you here? Well, part of what happened is back last year, the city asked Neighborhood House for a letter stating that we would support the city with in-kind services, which is what we're doing. We're currently working with city staff to do this. We just reported the January in-kind donations. January alone was $18,000. We still have yet to report February and March. In the past 12 months alone, at least 15 of our clients have obtained the city business license and are currently doing business. We have over 200 customers, and over 100 of those are still open today. One of these people is here with us today, and he would like to say a few words. Mr. David Cortez.
Hello, I'm Dave Cortez. I'm over at Express PC Service. We provide services, computer services with right in Oakland County. And actually, we're working right now with the public library in El Centro. And our microbusiness service, they help us to provide us an office, help us to get on the license, know the legal document. So it's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. I was a little over the 3 minutes I promised, but do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, sir. It's too bad that we didn't get to see the actual slide presentation. And it seems that your neighborhood house is in partnership with our community. Would it be something out of the ordinary if we were to include his slide show presentation on our city's website as a link?
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Would that be something good? That way, all of us, I could see it when I, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
That's all I have, Mr. Araujo.
Anyone else have any comments? Thank you, Mr. Araujo.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And sorry about the technicality there. Okay. Moving on to the announcements, public appearances, and public comments, part of our agenda. Note, not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. Okay, we're going to start off with Mr. Lucio Padilla. And you have a comment on the solar panel industry.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, city council members. Nice to be here. I came to you because I have a concern, and my name is Lucio Padilla. I live at 940 Salvador Guilin. Been living in Calexico for about 48 years. I'm a teacher in Calexico School District. I was a teacher, high school teacher for about 3 years. And during this time, as a teacher of at-risk students, which has been always my profession, my dedication, my whole life, been working with these kinds of students because I always want to help them. As I was working with the students that usually do not have a lot of opportunities educationally in educational careers, they usually are looking for vocational careers. I began to see the advertisement of solar energy in our community, in our county, and I began to encourage a lot of my students to go for these kinds of opportunities, to go to vocational schools, which are several here in Imperial Valley. And I don't know if I'm directing myself to the right people. I don't know how you are involved in it, but I'm pretty sure that you can encourage to have some issues discussed among you and other people that you might know that have to do with this issue. But some of my students, including my son, who I brought from San Diego, where he was doing, okay, but I told him this is a good opportunity, come over here. These kids went to school for 11 months. Some of them paid $6,000 to get training on solar systems, looking for an opportunity to get a job. Somewhat stressful and unfortunate that a lot of them did not get an opportunity even to interview. I don't know how the interview process goes. They went to several job fairs. They've completed applications. Some of the people from the industry went to their schools and they gave presentations and promised them that there will be some opportunities for them. I don't know how it works. I don't know what the percentage of people is supposed to be hired from Imperial Valley. This area is a valley that needs a lot of these kinds of jobs. So I would ask if you would support that there's a more visible way of looking into the ways they interview people, they hire people, that our kids, our people from Imperial Valley are not left out. At least give them an opportunity in interviews. We're not really asking them to hire if they're not credentialed or experienced enough, but to offer opportunities for them, because we do have some people that spend money and time preparing for these jobs, and it's kind of unfair to see that they didn't even get a chance to get an interview. When they went to the job fairs, they didn't give them a contact number. They told them, we'll call you, and it never happened. That saying, we'll call you, don't call us, we'll call you, but it never happened. It's kind of unfortunate that these things happen. So at least give the people a chance so that they're not, trying to, get a career here and not being able to get it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Padilla. What we're going to do to somewhat respond to that is that Mr. John Renison, he's a county representative, which is kind of the sort of the response I gave you previous when you asked me that question before. And so he's going to help us out to understand as much as he can.
Yes, Honorable City Council, John Renison, County Supervisor, District 1, representing most of Calexico with the exception of northeast Calexico where Mr. Hodge and I believe a few others live, but I represent the rest of Calexico. Mr. Castillo represents District 5, so you have 2 county supervisors. Let me just give you some figures. Mr. Padilla and I spoke at length a couple of days ago, and he was concerned that he hadn't received a callback for his son, and I share his concern. Unfortunately, there's been about 4 or 5 job fairs with 1,200, 1,300 people applying at each of those job fairs, and I can't respond to the whys or the wherefores people don't get calls back. But what I've done is asked Mr. Padilla's son, Miguel, who I've also met with, we were going to get together, and he's going to be referred to the IBEW 569 and to see if he can be put through an electrical apprentice program and subsequently be put to work at one of the 4 projects being constructed west of Calexico. Currently, the 4 projects west of Calexico are projected to have 1,946 jobs at full build-out. Currently, there's 900 jobs. Of those, 128 are Calexico residents, 128. And we're just getting started because those projects are just ramping up right now. They kind of overlap. Some of them are ahead of others, but at full build-out, there'll be 1,946 temporary jobs, mind you, not jobs that will last 3 to 4 to 5 years. But because of the build-out and because there's so many projects, you could go to work on one project, and in a perfect world, you'll be able to go to another one, and another one, and be employed about 3 years. That's basically the bottom line. So you're not going to be promised a full-time job for the next 10 years. However, the employment you have there and the experience you gain there will allow you to get other jobs in the solar projects in Calipatria, in Brawley, West Calexico, El Centro, etc. The only one I'm not listing as far as jobs creation are the ones in the other parts of the valley. But just so you know, construction jobs at Ocotillo, wind facilities, there's 350 jobs at that one currently. Now, but the emphasis basically for welders and electricians and carpenters and basically construction work are at the 4 job sites west of Calexico, 7 to 8 miles on Pulliam Road, Farrell Road, basically adjacent to the Mount Signal area. Within a couple of months, you're going to be able to drive out there and you're going to wonder what's going on because it's going to be covered like a blanket of solar panels. And you could pretty much see that now. As you come into town, Jennifer, if you look to your right, just past Pulliam there, that's what's going on there. So at full build out, you're going to have acres and acres and acres of solar panels out there, and that's what it's all about. So that's what I wanted to bring to your attention here tonight. I don't know if there's any questions. It's probably not an appropriate time. But if anybody else has any concerns about local people being employed out there or how they can get answers or calls back, I'll do what I can as a county supervisor to get you that answer. What I can do is have the Workforce Development Office work with our local residents and come down here and actually have forums if they want to inform them on what the responses, if they were required to have responses, who was going to give the responses. Was it the private companies? Was it the Workforce Development Board? Because various corporations had the job fairs, so it's very hard to determine which one he specifically applied for. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Just closing real quick, I wanted to invite the public. You'll all be getting an email. Supervisor Castillo and I will be having a small State of the County address reception next Thursday, March 28th here in Calexico, and location to be determined. So that's a week from Thursday, 6 p.m., and we'd love a lot of Calexico participation there. And it'll be in Calexico, specifically talking about Calexico projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renison. Before you go, though, just out of curiosity, I understand that there is a school here then in Calexico, and I've heard about it. It's down on Martin Luther King, I believe.
Mr. Padilla would probably address that better than I can because he attended that, the young Miguel Padilla. Maybe he could respond to that.
Yeah.
Because he actually attended that.
Because we do have that type of a school here in
Yes.
Calexico that's training applicants to learn the solar industry and different renewable energy industries. Isn't that correct? So when the question was asked, I thought it was important to connect up and have those answers, because this council does not have those answers, because they are county programs and projects. Even though they are in the vicinity of the city of Calexico, they're right on the outskirts of our boundaries.
And Madam Mayor, if I may, and just to dovetail on his concerns, he may very well not to have to go through any more programs, because he has 900 hours of training already. 900 hours in his specific case.
We just need
So-
help in directing them.
Exactly. We just need to get him employed, like right now, and that's what we're working on as we speak. So
Great.
he's going to be meeting with the union tomorrow, and
Great.
hopefully we'll get a positive response.
Okay, Mr. Hodge has something to say too.
Yes.
First of all, Mr. Supervisor Renison, I appreciate your leadership and concern on this matter. I think Mr. Padilla has an authentic point to be made, and I am concerned. But once again, based on your knowledge and input, you're aware that they are honoring their promise, that they're mainly hiring locals?
To my knowledge, yes. And the type of information that we're privy to, the answer is yes. And I'm glad you asked that. 70% of the local hires, or excuse me, 70% of the 558 jobs, if that's right off the top of my head, the 558, 70% are local Imperial County hires. 70%.
80.
And I'm not saying Calexico, but 128 of the local hires are from Calexico, and those are union hires, not counting the construction workers and all that who are non-union.
Okay, that sounds like a good percentage. Is there a way that, for in the future, in case they lost sight of their promise, that what's the avenue that we could, impart our concern?
We
these
have
businesses?
our deputy CEO, Andy Horn, who is the solar czar, if you will, for the county. He meets with, and Mr. Marcus at the Workforce Development, he meets with these folks continuously. We could have a little powwow, so to speak,
that would
with
be a
those
good
three
idea.
entities. Yes.
For
And
everyone.
if you're interested, or a council member's interested in attending, we'd have been more than happy to invite you so you can get it from the horse's
That's what I was
mouth.
leading to, some kind of powwow.
Absolutely. We can bring them to Calexico. You wouldn't have to go to El Centro for that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
bet.
Mr. Renison. Just to add to that, final note on that is that we have met now some of the solar energy companies when we were out at the Mount Signal project, and we are trying to invite them to come over so if we can work together on that and have them come over and introduce themselves to the community. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Because I just wanted to make clear, because if it's advertised more, I think it will be limited to a lot of the people.
Okay, you know what you might want to do, Mr. Padilla? Have a conversation with Mr. Renison, catch him before he leaves, because, okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Padilla, for bringing that subject forward. Next person, is Antonio Solano, and you have a comment on item number 10. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Solano, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, I'm going to call you up when actually number 10 comes up. Okay, Mario Vega, public comments. Mario Vega? Señor Vega, ¿usted es el que quiere hablar? Sí, ok, pásale por favor. You're gonna need your things.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Mario Vega. Yo tengo un poco de dificultad con el inglés. Traigo un problema, pero que es más personal, es sobre el consumo de agua, que he querido resolver y no he podido llegar a alguna conciliación. Ahorita tengo el servicio hace 9 meses cortado. Vine a hacer un arreglo y no lo pude llegar a llevar a cabo. Y vengo a pedir el apoyo de ustedes, a ver qué podía hacer esto para poder tener el servicio de agua.
Señor Solano, cuando usted viene y habla aquí con nosotros, when you come and you speak here with us, no podemos, lo que hicimos con el señor supervisor fue un poquito diferente, pero si necesita un poquito de ayuda, quizás sea importante que usted se acerque al señor Mercado, el señor que está aquí al final, y a acercarse con su preocupación que trae. Más o menos lo escuché, pero aquí no podríamos darle ninguna contestación.
Ok, no le hace, pero tengo aquí la información para dejárselas.
Claro que
y
sí.
ver eso, para que vean los detalles y que se
I would leave it with the clerk.
Si gustas, comunícate también con la señorita para que se puedan ustedes poner de acuerdo.
Ok,
Sí,
muy bien, gracias.
con todo gusto. Thank you. Okay. Gracias, señor Vega. Next for public comments is Marco Mendez, and he's with the CPAL recognition. That's the subject.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here with the sports section. My name is Marco Mendez. I'm the president of the CPAL organization, Calexico Parents Athletic League. And I would like to present this award to someone who helped the league. The CPAL is proudly thankful for your invaluable work, dedication, pride, and support to the community in CPAL. This award goes to Sergio Pesqueira, and please, have nothing here. Thanks for all your help.
So cameras.
Esto es parte del deporte aquí en Calexico. Repito, mi nombre es Marco Méndez, estoy aquí para auxiliar y ayudar a la liga en todo lo que se pueda, tanto a la organización, y pues vamos a estar aquí al pendiente de todo lo que vaya pasando durante estos meses. Muchas gracias por su atención.
Thank you. Okay, Tony, you're next.
He's got 2:15.
Tony Garcia.
He's got 2:15 on this one.
You had some time left.
Well, we filled out separately, but that's fine. It's all right along. My name is Tony Garcia. I live at 1101 Amada Court. I am the current president of the organization. Mr. Mendez here is the president of the soccer section of our organization, which is great. He's doing fine. Through our transcourse of events and things that we like to do for the public, for the kids, we just ask for help, and we get it. It rains on us, and we're so proud of it, and our organization is like indebted to a lot of these people. We have one gentleman who we've forgotten the last times we recognize him, tell him thank you, so forth. This person here takes time from his busy schedule just to listen to what we need and for our requests. He sees what we do as far as servicing the community, especially the use of Calexico. And he makes sure that whatever facility we use is up and running at full time. And most of it is Calexico Unified School District areas. That whenever we borrow them, whenever we want to use them, he makes sure they're ready to go. This person, I'm pretty sure he's as proud as me to be a Bulldog, as Mr. Pesqueira is too. Mr. George Duarte, please come up here. Just someone else we forgot to thank before, but just as important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. And congratulations to those hardworking volunteers and Calexico Unified staff. Okay, moving on to our next public speaker will be Apodaca is the last name. I'm not sure what that first name is there. With regard to the animal shelter. I'm sorry if you don't mind saying your name.
Is it right here okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, my name is Devin Apodaca. I live at 545 Desert Rose Court in Imperial. I was hoping to come up a little bit later, but we're here, me and my director, Charlene Mariner. There's some issues regarding the Calexico Animal Control with some pictures that were being taken of animals that were being posted online on the Calexico Animal Shelter Facebook page. We've had several complaints from people in the community that have volunteered or that have visited the website, the Facebook page, about animals that were taken to the shelter, and that they were told by people that the animals that were on the Facebook page were at our shelter. We run the Humane Society, Imperial Valley Humane Society. We have a contract with you people. And several people have accused us of doing bad things to those animals because they were not at the shelter. We are not putting down the fact that animals are being taken, like their pictures are being taken and that they're being posted online. We think it's great that that's happening because it is reuniting some animals with their owners, and it has helped animals get adopted. The only thing is that some of the animals I know have not been directly picked up by your animal control officers, and some volunteers are saying that they are adopting out these animals through you guys, from my understanding. And that, like I said, it is causing a problem for us. And also, it will cause a problem for you guys because if you are adopting out animals that are unspayed and unneutered, which is required by law in the state of California, before the animals leave a shelter, an animal holding facility, any type of shelter at all, whatever, they must be spayed or neutered before they leave. And they are not being spayed or neutered or vaccinated or anything before they leave your shelter. And that could pose a threat or a problem for you guys because in the state of California, it is a $5,000 fine per animal that is adopted out unspayed and unneutered. I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Just for information for the public, I know that we have a subcommittee here in the City Council, which is Councilman Moreno and Councilman Hodge. And I know that you have had quite a bit of communication with the different volunteer groups and things like that. But the information that you're bringing is very important because I wasn't aware that there is actually some differences here. So, Mr. Moreno and Mr. Hodge, would you like to make any comment at this point about that? Because I know that we have like 4 different...
I'd rather listen to the public
Okay,
at this point.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Mr. Hodge.
Okay. All right then, so thank you very much, Mr. Apodaca. We're going to move on now to Charlene. I'm so sorry, I can't read this. Mariner? Also about the animal shelter.
Okay.
And I try to put them together to make sense, so.
Charlene Mariner, I am the director of the Imperial Valley Humane Society. I live in El Centro. And the main thing that I wanted to bring up, the fact that we do handle probably between 300 and 400 animals each month. And we do get all the animals from all the different shelters after they've been held for the allotted amount of time. We do have a very good adoption rate. We do also transfer many of our animals to other shelters for adoption. And we're very happy with our transport system. We do require that all the animals are spayed or neutered before they're adopted from our shelter. And we have a working relationship with the local vets in order to get this done before the animal is adopted. We also go a little extra further in the fact that we make sure the animals have all their vaccinations plus their rabies shots besides being spayed or neutered. So we try to have them all set and ready to go when they are adopted into homes so that they're ready for a family. We have a foster program too, that we foster these animals into homes before the adoption too. So we try really hard to find homes for everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next speaker is Tiffany Mendoza. The subject is the Calexico Animal Shelter.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Mendoza, and I live at 1738 Ocotillo Drive in El Centro. Tonight I would like to speak to you about the importance of the Calexico Animal Shelter. Recently, the Valley has grown exponentially, but our services for animals have yet to really catch up. The animal shelter has made some positive strides, but if the current management starts to limit volunteers, it will not only be detrimental to the animals, but our community as well. One day, I would like for the Imperial Valley to be seen as a truly pet-friendly community. To accomplish that, we need to make animals a top priority. Many people think that only bold moves forward will make a difference, but we can all do something. What I would like to see from the Calexico Animal Shelter is to simply do more, such as allowing more volunteer hours, doing donation drives and other fundraising events to promote the shelter. And what I expect from the shelter in the future is to make physical improvements, like an actual building, become more visible with better PR, and outreach to the community more, like educating on how important it is to spay and neuter your animals. As a volunteer at the Coconino Humane Society and Flagstaff, I'm allowed to come and go as I please during shelter hours. This allows me to volunteer as many as 12 hours at a time. Coconino is not a large facility, but still makes an impact on the community through its outreach with adoption events and spay and neuter programs, as well as fundraisers. Imagine what volunteers in Calexico could do if they were allowed to volunteer during regular shelter hours. There are about 70 volunteers currently signed up. If they were given more time with animals, they could not only give them their weekly grooming session, but make them more sociable through some basic training. Volunteers in Calexico have already made a huge difference and increased their save rate by 80%. Imagine what they could do with more time. At heart, an animal shelter is a business. When current management does not allow volunteers to be used to the fullest of their capabilities, they are being left on the table as an important asset. By not allowing volunteers to post photos to Facebook, shelter animals will have a harder time getting a home. It is crippling the animal shelter if photos are no longer being posted. If current management cannot keep up with community demands, then it may be time for a new department to manage the shelter. Until the Facebook page was started, I had no idea that the Calexico Animal Shelter even existed. I look forward to seeing and sharing new photos of animals up for adoption. Some of the photos have even reunited families with their pets. Every person that sees those photos gets that animal one step closer to a home. In October, I attended the Hollow Wolf Ween event and was so ecstatic to see so many animal lovers and their furry companions. The Imperial Valley is full of animal lovers, and we need to start making our community reflect that love. There is a saying in the animal shelter circle: adopt. If you can't adopt, foster. If you can't foster, sponsor. If you can't sponsor, volunteer. If you can't volunteer, donate. If you can't donate, then educate. Tonight, I hope I have helped educate you and inspired you to do something. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. Good job. Okay, next, Carolina Avila. Conditions and ideas to improve for the Calexico Animal Shelter.
Hello, good evening. My name is Carolina Avila. I live in 774 Avenue, Acuna Avenue. I was reading the Calexico mission statement, and it mentions that you want to improve the quality of life for everyone. And what about animals? Since I moved back to Calexico, I've seen so many homeless pets, and I know animal cruelty is happening in our town, and we are just looking away. We are part of the problem. Also, I found out Calexico has an animal shelter through Facebook, and this animal shelter is new to the city, and I would like to see for us citizens to put an effort on it. And honestly, this animal shelter is nothing like the ones I used to assist. Even my dog was adopted 4 years ago. He's spayed, he's spayed and neuter. And he even has a microchip. He has also his vaccinations, and also I think we should bring awareness to the community about spaying and neutering their pets, and in order to control the homeless pet population. Also, I wanted to say, Sunday night, I found a pit bull puppy by the Campesinos Unidos building. She was very hungry and very, very skinny. She had little body mass. I took her home. She couldn't walk. I kept her overnight. I fed her. I gave her water. I provided her with some food supplement, and I took her to the animal shelter, and I called the Humane Society, and I was told she was most likely to be put down because she was sick, and I know she could have been helped. Also, I want to say that we should take care of this problem because, as you can see, we don't want to have the same problem Mexicali is having right now, and that is the rickettsia, and we don't need this in Calexico. Also, I did send an email regarding the situation, including a picture of the dog, and I would like to have a response. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolina. Okay, and Diana Daniels, also for the conditions, volunteers, and Facebook page for the Calexico Animal Shelter.
Hi, everybody. My name is Diana Daniels. I live at 1322 Garfield. I feel like there's so much to say and not enough time to say it, so I'm just going to make this quick. I got a speech prepared, but with everything that's been happening today, I hope I can actually hold it in and actually just be able to say what I need to say and not just be off track. So here it goes. The police lieutenant wants to make the shelter into a pound, so less care and work can be appropriate. This makes things easier for them and not to the citizens of Calexico. Once again, with this shelter, the citizens lose quality to laziness. You're gonna lose quality into laziness if you go from shelter to pound. So let me ask you a question. What does it say outside the building? Calexico Animal Shelter, not pound, shelter. So let's act like it. How about that? According to the Imperial County Humane Society, through the resolve of volunteer key members of City Council such as Oscar Rodriguez, Bill Hodge, and also John Moreno, 80% of the animals that now come from Calexico Animal Shelter are not being put down. 80% less are being put down. If you ask me, our program is working. Being killed. 80% less is being killed, according to Humane Society. So I think that our volunteer program is doing a pretty good damn job. Also, the volunteer program is working and has devoted people weekly who show up to clean, to groom, to de-tick, and show the animals much needed attention to become viable for adoption instead of slaughter. This is an amazing accomplishment, and I would like to publicly say thank you to the volunteers for making our hopes for the shelter a reality. We're making vast improvements and are almost complete to having a facility worth carrying the Calexico name. Unfortunately, the shelter's top dog, no pun intended, that's Lieutenant Gerardo, wants to get rid of the shelter title so we can provide less service to the people and their lost pets. This idea is pure laziness and unjust for city employees. It's obvious that people care and want to make a change. Also, I'm a believer that city employees in charge of the shelter should work for people's agenda and not their own agenda. City work is hard, and I understand it deserves a lot of appreciation, and I agree with that. But the bare minimum attitude is not fitting of my tax dollar or people who want to donate time and services for free. As our very popular Facebook page, which has over 1,000 followers, it has let the citizens to know that, in fact, there's a shelter in Calexico. Surprise, surprise, we have a shelter in Calexico. So if your dog or cat is lost, maybe you should go there and check it out. It has reunited animal owners with their pets and allowed people to see animals available for adoption. Now, the lieutenant wants to cancel the photos because of many people are requiring of lost pets. Isn't this the whole idea? We have pictures on our website so people can see if they have a lost pet in there. I think it's genius. Also, this mindset is very disheartening. The only reason why Lieutenant wants to not have pictures is to cover up the embarrassment of poor problematic conditions. This is a public facility run by the city employees, and only full cooperation to surpass the achievements already set forth should be tolerated. Public facility. Public. It's not his facility or my facility. It's a public facility. I implore the Calexico Police to continue in a positive direction instead of a negative one, as the lieutenant has made clear in his agenda. We almost have a shelter worth of the Calexico name. Please don't destroy the public trust. Thank you. Now, to address your issues, you said spay and neuter fine.
Ms. Daniels, you need to direct yourself to the council.
Okay. Well, he mentioned something about a spay and neuter fine, and I've never, in the past 3 years that I worked, I guess, with the animals in Calexico, I've never had anybody say spay and neuter fine. Because honestly, that's the least of people's concern, which is unfortunate. I think spay and neuter should be the top #1 thing. I do. However, about 3 years ago when I came here, I told City Council that apparently, all the dogs and cats are being adopted out illegally by not being fixed. So now it's a problem? Seriously? Come on.
Ms. Daniels, thank you so much. We're very concerned about that. I know that the gentlemen here that are on that subcommittee are very concerned. I'm not sure if this would be the appropriate time to discuss it because it's only public comments. So I would assume that you would contact Ms. Daniels and continue this conversation? Yep.
We're looking forward. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Hodge.
Well, I'd like to say something to it. Do I do it now, or do I wait for council comments?
The Brown Act allows a brief comment related to public comment, but it doesn't.
I'll wait for
it's
council comments.
Not a discussion piece.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your input. And we very much appreciate the help of all the volunteers. Okay, next speaker is Mr. Oscar Gonzalez. And you also have here requests for several others. So we'll get you on those for later, okay?
Me llamo Oscar González, vivo en Calexico. Quisiera enfocar en español. A mí se me hace que cuando leo en el periódico que voluntarios tienen que juntarse para limpiar los parques, el graffiti. No hay que buscarle mangas a chaleco. El problema es la administración. El señor Acuña y yo trabajo por el señor Acuña como consultante y hemos tratado de juntarnos con él para ver si podemos presentarle un plan, cómo podemos abrir la biblioteca el sábado, el viernes y el sábado, y City Hall los viernes, pero no podemos, por X causa, no es por culpa de nosotros. Y también, desafortunadamente, critican al señor Acuña, pero a él no le pagan y no es su trabajo. Si quisiera que vieran los urinales que hay aquí enfrente de la policía, están pésimos y tenemos que hacer algo con la administración. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Next speaker, Rudy Alarcón.
I will be taking Mr. Alarcon's place, Mayor.
Okay.
It'll just be very brief. And Mayor, members of council, and basically it's just an announcement. We got 4th of July around the corner, and I share everyone's frustration here. And what we're doing is we're seeking volunteers for our fireworks stand. So the council and the public, we're seeking volunteers. It's a tough 6 days, and all of our proceeds are donated. And we've this is our 3rd year doing it, and in the past 2 years we've donated over $13,000 to outreach programs, explorers, baseball programs, etc. And I know that in the past we've been criticized for our fireworks stand and looked under the microscope by ex-members of the council. I won't mention any names, Mr. Daniel Romero, who's in the audience. So we welcome you to give us a hand in our stand there, Mr. Romero. I'm sorry I didn't bring the popcorn today as
Tiger, no personal attacks, please.
as we had planned. But anyways, we will be running our stand 6 days prior to 4th of July, and we hope that everyone can participate, including yourselves. It's hard work, and like I said, 100% of the money is donated towards all of the programs within the city. We don't keep a dime of it. It doesn't go to negative campaigns as we were accused at one time. It goes to the public. And I share Mrs. Daniels' frustration, so is she still here? Get with us and maybe we can do something together in our fireworks stand, okay? So hopefully you guys can all join us, and including Mr. Daniel Romero over there in the corner. Okay, Danny? Luis Casillas, CPOA.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say speaking of the devil, but I'm not sure if I want to say that. Next is Daniel Romero. No pun intended.
I'm not even going to go there.
I'm sure it was no pun intended, how I was viewed by the CPOA. Okay, my name is Daniel Romero, residing at 800 Holdridge Street here in Calexico. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. I'll consider if you show proceeds at how they were spent from last year's proceeds. Good afternoon, evening, Mayor Hurtado, Mayor Pro Tem Hodge, balance of the City Council for the City of Calexico. I guess in place, Chief Mercado for City Manager, Director, Staff, Public Safety Chiefs, and your respective personnel. I have been approached by concerned citizens and will share their message with my following comments. We were pleasantly surprised when word reached us that through this council, it was determined to establish a panel of 5 to 7 individuals who would graciously sacrifice some of their valuable personal time to be part of a process for an eventual recommendation for the successor of Chief Jim Newjar, and with greater importance that 2 of those panelists would be the district attorney and the sheriff. There is someone else who was mentioned that I believe would be an excellent addition to the panel, but I understand political pressure is in full force at this time, not only not to include the third person, who I am not naming, but also to replace or eliminate the appointments of the DA and the sheriff. This council takes an incredible, important step forward on improving the image of our city of Calexico by including these two professionals, and also the third, if he is named, which I won't name. And then we see this council taking 2 steps back when we hear that this council where no less than 2 council members are involved in pressuring others to remove these 2 professionals from the panel to expand the opportunity for a different candidate to be considered who may not be immediately qualified. I am not saying that this person would not be selected by these 2 professionals, but at the least with these 2 on board, it will give the recommendation that much more credibility. We ask, do not replace or remove the DA or the sheriff. You would not only be removing with each an extraordinary quality of integrity, experience, and professionalism from the panel and its process, you will also remove the transparency that our public is desiring. The council will all lose credibility if they are removed. If you keep them on, the people will remember your first thought was the best interest for the community and not a special interest group.
Mr. Romero, you have 15 seconds.
20. And another rumor has it that they are already, if not had done so, in tarnishing potential candidates who could challenge their preferred candidate. Thank you for these almost 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Thank you. Mr. Rudy, someone took your time already. He did have a few seconds left. How much was it? Get another slip. Is it about an hour? About a minute? Okay, you can go ahead and do a minute.
You've got 2 seconds.
Thank you.
I just don't want to get out too much of our routine because then it gets a little crazy.
Council members, thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity. You know, I'm amazed by the comments Mr. Romero makes, since these comments.
Just remember that we're not going to do any personal or slanderous remarks.
Since, to my knowledge, they were never made public, so he's obviously speaking of something that happened in closed session. And it concerns me that he would have knowledge of what's happening in closed session. Obviously, some members of the council might be speaking what's happening behind closed session, or it's just rumors that he's come up with. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Alarcon. Okay, next speaker is Ross Johnson. It didn't say subject, so I'm going to assume that it's public comments.
My name is Ross Johnson, and I live in El Centro, California. I'm going to make this brief, as brief as I can. I had some notes that I left at my office, and I apologize for not bringing them with me. It's my understanding that there was a vote taken by the council personnel here regarding waiving some fees for some new businesses, I guess, that wanted to start in the city of Calexico. And I understand in doing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's just a public comment, that the school district would also have to waive their fees if you'd waived your fees, which I understand you voted to do. And there's a couple of gentlemen, one gentleman in particular, on the council, and all I hear him say every time I'm here is that he wants to protect the kids. And my concern is that by waiving fees for any one group or individual will have a dangerous financial impact, because I'm concerned that you'll have more requests to waive fees. And our Constitution allows for equal protection under the law. So I would like to know where I can get in line and have an application and start waiving the fees that would normally be applied. So I ask you, all council people and mayor, that the next time you consider waiving fees that are normally paid by every other individual or entity, that you consider the full impact of your vote, because it will deprive the kids that are so needed for these services, that you will deprive them of those services when you vote to waive fees. Because the fees that you waive here, my understanding, they're also waived in other entities in the city. And it does eventually impact those kids that I hear so much about from a couple of people on the stage tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay, our last speaker for public comments section is Mr. John Romo. Looks like it says all matters per meeting with city manager. Request to speak with the city manager.
Good evening, council members and Madam Chair. With all due respect, I don't intend to speak for the whole 3 minutes. My request to meet with the city manager has been for at least 7 months, and I have not had a response. I've read memos with clerks or secretaries, and I have not received a response. So therefore, that prompted me to come over and address this to the city council. I need to meet with a city manager to discuss personal matters that affect my persona, my life. And number two, and that would probably be it. So if I can get a directive from the full board that I can have a meeting with the city manager to discuss certain personal matters.
Okay. As far as a response to you, the council cannot necessarily respond to you. The only thing that we could do is ask Gabby to ensure that when Mr. Rodriguez returns from being out of town, that he call you at his first opportunity. That's the only belief that we can do here at this level.
Madam Chair, it is with this person that I have left several messages.
Okay, I understand that then. Then in that case, then the council themselves, we will ensure to contact him and let him know that you are trying to contact him. Make sure that you give us your contact number. I see one here, and if this is the number, then we can go ahead and have that.
They have it up there, and
Okay.
I appreciate that if the council will ensure.
Yes, we will.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
One more question. Can we speak as being well versed on the Brown Act? Can all participants comment on any subject line item? Council?
Is that a question, sir?
Yes. Council, can any member address the council on any subject matter of the agenda?
Yes, that was read under the public comment statement.
Thank you. I'd like to also have a copy of the minutes of the public comments that I just made.
Mr. Romo?
Yes.
I will take the lead and help expedite that meeting. 7 months is too long, so
Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
help
Hodge.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge, very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Romo. Okay, that is all for our public comments. Participants? No, we cannot go home yet, Mr. Hodge. We still have the whole agenda to go over.
The novella's up.
Okay, now, we are now on to the general comments by our council and city manager. Mr. Moreno, would you like to make any comments?
Yes, I would. Briefly.
Yes, briefly.
I believe, I'd like to thank the BID, the City of Calexico, and all who participated in the car show. That was a good event, always a fun event on a couple Saturdays ago. So if you missed it, next year, I'm sure they'll have it again. I'd like to request that, since it's baseball season, and I know that a lot of our parks need upgrading, but there's about, on any given day, several hundred people out at the water plant complex. And I understand that there was a water shut-off there over by one of the concession stands that needs to be turned on. We also needed to see if we can look at improving the fields, and hopefully this goes before Measure H. Perhaps a clay infield on both fields, and then maybe even some scoreboard lights. I know that Measure H was passed with public safety and recreation involved, so hopefully our committee will take a look at that. I did also talk to our Public Works Director, City Engineer, about some street lights that were out downtown. I haven't checked them yet. And finally, the animal shelter. Ms. Daniels, I know that you have been working tirelessly. Your efforts are immeasurable. I thank you for that. I think that we can all be on the same page and improve the process. It's all about working together, and I know that you were very critical of the situation, and that's fine. You have your opinions and so forth, but I think if we look at the guidelines within the city and the codes within the state of California, I think we can move this along. There are people that want to get involved, and maybe too much involvement is not a good thing. I don't know. But let's meet again soon, and let's really try to make some strides. I know Mr. Hodge is also a member of this subcommittee, and I'm glad that some of the people in the audience felt that our animal shelter had made major improvements. I hope that we can, for our next meeting, I hope that we can meet at the animal shelter itself and see firsthand, I haven't been there in years, but see firsthand how we can improve it, take a good look at the shelter, and try to improve it. I know we're working on some roofing. There are people that want to get involved. Let's let them get involved, and let's try to work together. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Mr. Hodge?
Yes, I have a few items. First of all, at the very end, I visited the John F. Kennedy Park, where under the leadership of Javier Gonzalez, this was a wonderful thing of how volunteers can really make a difference. And I want to thank Javier Gonzalez and all the volunteers for cleaning up the park. On behalf of the city, we're concerned, but we need to step up more and expedite this matter. He was, discussing or sharing his frustrations. So I took the lead to set a meeting with Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Acuna, Mrs. Estrada, Chuy, other people, and of course, who needs to be there is the subcommittee on the park. So that's Mayor Hurtado and Councilman Castro. So I hope that face-to-face we can really coordinate. They have a right to vent. We need to listen, but most importantly, we need to execute. So I'm looking forward for that meeting. I would like to have a directive or to communicate to the Arts Commission for the next meeting to give us a report on the status of a suggestion I made, and that was a mural program that would hopefully help in graffiti abatement. I know Mr. Savine, in a parallel manner, has been working on it. I'm frustrated. It seems like we're dragging our feet. So I'd like to hear from the Arts Commission what are the next steps and how fast we can carry those out. It's a pleasure to sit on the pool subcommittee. We have some very concerned people that are working. It looks positive, but I might suggest at an earlier stage that we come up with a business plan that's tangible, so we have a plan, we know where we're driving to. And I'd like to suggest the possibility, I know it's money, but a consultant maybe as a point person really working on this, because we're all busy, and one person could really expedite the process of having a pool. Again, our community is impatient, and we need to act. Today we had a workshop from consultants from ICTC. It was a very good workshop, and there are very concerns on behalf of the public. It pertains to bringing in a bus circulator in order to lessen the pressure on the line that directly comes into Calexico and goes right out to El Centro. I'm an advocate for the people and their voice, and what they stated was they really want to see if we can help subsidize our existing transit company. And if that's their wishes, I will advocate on their behalf at ICTC. The last is the animal shelter. We can't make any more excuses. I'm extremely frustrated. I've been on this subcommittee for over a year now, and we still don't have a roof. I don't understand why we're not moving faster. I think Mrs. Daniels should be commended. Yes, she's aggressive. That might be a turnoff, but what's coming from her heart is true, and she only cares. So I really feel that on behalf of the city, and I don't mean to be negative, I know we have other issues, but I don't think overall that we don't seem to have that as a priority. That's a priority to me. I'll do everything possible to make it a priority so that, again, we can plan and execute in a very timely manner. It really upsets me, these people. They keep waiting and waiting and waiting. They keep coming up with the same issues, and we listen, we nod. I'm frustrated too, and I know I sit here and I do defend our staff and the city. But we really got to get it together. We got to act faster on all these matters. So I appreciate your leadership. I understand your frustration. I don't want to be waiting for another year for the roof. The heat is coming up. I don't want animals dying. It is a priority. Let's make it a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Kim.
First of all, I believe Mr. Hodge was mentioning last year during the council meeting about the complaint or the people they needed. We need to have somebody in this designated to help the community. And I think that is not really functioning. A lot of cases, community members come to here to complaining what they need. Some certain small things, we might have to have some departments or under the city managers that should be able to listening to the community needs just before the coming to the city council. I think that we need to have some kind of process that to expediting the communities that need help. And the other one, I was attend the ICTC workshop, or I believe they are surveying from the consultant, and I went there to send the message to the. I'm the one, or we councilmen, we are the one representing the community. Our job is protecting communities' benefit more than counties, and we send the messages strongly. I believe that Mr. Hachi was there, and Mr. Castro was there. And if we cannot protect our citizens' benefit, that doesn't mean anything for us. And I believe some of the members of the BID, Business Improvement District members, they should send us a message to make sure that their transportation facility a little far away from the downtown, to make sure they don't pumping or delivering our possible customer to the other city. The other one is parks and the road is still bad condition and it looks like they're not doing anything yet. And even they have a flood and going on at the Daniel Gutierrez Park when I was there. I don't know when they're gonna take the actions. I just being here to criticizing. They were saying is I'm the one criticizing fellow council member, but he's not doing actions. I believe community had enough of patience. It's time to take actions. It's not doing yet. I really, really believe this one have to take the action right away as soon as possible. Anything we can do, little one first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Castro?
Yes, I went to the ICT meeting today with the, I believe it's off. Okay, I went to the ICT meeting today with my colleagues was there, Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Bill Hodge and Councilman Kim. And one of the issues that I concern with this ICT system, ICT, Imperial County Transportation Commission, that they've been working with this company, First Transit. They founded the contract with them, but I'm concerned about what Mr. King mentioned, that this transit service, they pumping the revenues from Calexico, and I didn't understand on that issue, but now I do understand when they say they pumping the revenues. Yes, why? Because Calexico is a border town. It's a border town, and we live from people from Mexicali, from other cities, not only Mexicali, but the majority are people who cross the border. And if we support to let some other transit service to take our customers to other cities, we are going to lose revenue for the city of Calexico. So I'm concerned about this issue, and I believe Mr. Kim, he's right. We are losing revenues. That's one of my concerns. And I'm definitely not agree on that issue, but we'll see. They barely start working on some programs in order to the people show up and gave us an input about the issue to the transit service. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Okay, let's see, where do I start? Just yesterday, I believe, we noticed some heavier traffic on Imperial Avenue, and just wanted to report that it looks like we do have a new operation, we'll call it, by the Mexican authorities at their point of the port of entry that is causing backup. I have spoken to our interim chief, and I was actually caught in the middle of the traffic yesterday for quite a while. And our interim chief has indicated that he will be ensuring that we have plenty of support. Apparently, it will be a project that will be going on for the next couple of months, apparently, so it will be a big problem for a while, but know that we will be on top of that. And if anyone does notice that there is backup and for some reason we're not out there, please let us know, myself or our interim chief. I personally have seen quite a bit of activity down on Yorman Road, which is the road next to Walmart. I see that there's some road repairs going on in that area. It's getting a little crazy because it's such a busy street that once you get to Cole Road and repair that one, I want to take a vacation on that time. But kudos to the staff. I know that you're overwhelmed. I know that we have, as a council, asked you consistently about Cole Road, and the questions are still out there. And I know that you're creeping towards that little by little, and we are excited to see the day that we will have a new Cole Road. So thank you to the Public Works Department that I know works extra hard to get that done. And, also thank you to the Public Works Department because you actually do help quite a bit, and we don't really recognize you all the time about what you do for our parks and what you do for all the different leagues that are out there that are needing these facilities. Because even though there's someone out there to cut the grass, there has to be something happening in this office here to have that happen. We have an extra busy community as far as sports are concerned, so we're out there and we're trying our best, and I know that the community is very involved as well. I know that someone that we call Chewy, his name is Jesus Iñiguez, is also doing quite a number of repairs to the girls softball league park, which is the Risen Field, and so I see that every day. I go by there every day, and there's a lot of work out there, and kudos to all the community members that are helping, because you're not getting paid for that, and I know that's a lot of work. I definitely know that they're out there, and the sun's gonna start to really be a problem later, and they're still out there, so kudos to you all. As Councilman Hodge said, Mayor Pro Tem Hodge indicated, we have had the pool meetings. We have already some good numbers as far as what exactly we're going to put together. We're looking at the possibility of even having solar panels installed so that this pool will be solar generated, or solar powered rather. And so we're going to be meeting on a monthly basis, I believe, so just so that we can get that done. And I know that we're working on a timeline, which is what the architect indicated last meeting. We just received also a invitation from the Calexico Chamber of Commerce. Please make a reservation if you're interested in seeing Señorita Mariachi Festival. That's a press conference and a reception to actually introduce. I guess that day they're going to have her selected. Okay, and that's this coming Tuesday, March the 26th, from 5:30 to 7 at the Holiday Inn on Scaroni Road. Just to remind you also that April the 16th will be our State of the City. We're going to combine that in conjunction with the anniversary of the City of Calexico, as well as a recognition for pioneers here in the City of Calexico. So we'll be reminding you every so often, just so make sure you guys know exactly when it's happening, where it's happening, and so you can join us. And one suggestion on the animal shelter is that I understand, and I don't think it should be now, gentlemen, but on another date maybe, is to explain what exactly is it, because what I was hearing just now is that there is a difference between the City of Calexico's facility and what the Humane Society can actually do. So there is a difference, and I think it's important for our public to understand that difference. And I'm sorry, we won't probably be able to do that today. I think it's important probably to bring it back as a presentation from the city staff to understand what our differences are. As far as what I'm seeing out here, I see there is some kind of a difference, and that's important. Just wanted to make sure I had that comment. And Diana, we'll make sure to get through that one more time. My last comment will be about March 28th meeting. Again, we do have the sports, different teams and things like that we want to be able to put together, not only so that they can come and talk to us and tell us what their issues are. As a city, we also need to talk to these different groups and let them know how the city operates, from registering your volunteers to how you reserve a park, who can do adopt a park, and different things like that. So this meeting is actually something I've been waiting for quite a while, is the core of where we need to service our public, is making sure they understand how the programs work. So that is my final comment. Mr. Mercado, would you like to make any comments as far as for city manager's portion of this?
No, I don't have any comments as of right now. I'll just be able to respond to the items that are in the agenda.
Okay.
Just really quick, an announcement. There was something mentioned earlier about fireworks. Fireworks applications by ordinance are available beginning March 1st
Oh, great.
through the 31st of March. But since we do observe the Cesar Chavez holiday, the applications will be due by noon on April 2nd. Okay, by noon on April 2nd, applications have to be submitted. So I just want to throw it out there. It's on the fire department website and on the city's website. So applications are available at City Hall.
Great, great news, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for helping out as interim city manager for the day. Oh, I'm sorry, for the week. Okay, moving on then now to our consent agenda. I believe that I heard earlier, Mr. Kim, you wanted to pull a few items before we vote?
I motion to approve 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, pulling number 4.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to pull out.
Go ahead.
Yes. I think the first of the number 4 is going to be not going to be taken pull out today.
Right,
Okay,
number 4 has been already pulled formally.
So I want the number 1, 2. I want to pull out the number 1 and 2 and 3 to consider separately.
I'll change my motion to include those and approve 5, 6, and 7.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
We're only missing Mr. Hodge.
Yeah, you can vote from the bathroom.
Okay, please vote. And once again, we are voting for the approval of items 5, 6, and 7. Number 4 has been pulled. Okay, thank you very much. Items pass 4-1. I'm sorry, 4, and Mr. Hodge is absent. Okay, Mr. Kim, you wanted to pull item number 1, which is approval of consultant award to the housing element update to the general plan to Castañeda and Associates.
My question, first of all, my question is why we have to have consultant for the facility? Why cannot do ourselves?
Okay, who are you directing that question to?
I think she's already.
Oh, there she is.
Mr. Hodge, in response to your question, is that we don't have the staff available to work on a housing element. It's a very detailed element that's conducted every 5 years, so therefore we go out to have this. It's part of the general plan, and it must be done every 5 years, and we don't have the staff available to do that.
So this is by the regulation? By the regulation to the consultant?
It's not a regulation to go out to bid for consultants, but it is a regulation by the state that we do have to have a housing element update every 5 years.
So we have to have a consultant to do evaluating our project doing it?
Yes.
So after the project, what benefit we going to get it?
Well, it's a state mandate. We have to get it done. If we don't update our housing element as part of the general plan, we will not be able to apply for any future funding with the state of California.
Okay, thank you. Okay. If nobody doesn't have a question, do you have?
No.
Clarification, Mrs. Nava.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Hodge.
Hello, Mr. Hodge. I said Mr. Kim.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry.
No, you said Mr. Hodge.
Did I? I'm so sorry.
Rewind it, instant replay.
It's been
I've been here for 12 hours. It's been a long day.
It's okay, Terry, it's been a long night, too.
Then I make the motion to approve it.
Thank you. First by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2, Mr. Kim, you asked to pull that one for further discussion. That's the approval of warrant register of claims paid in the month of February 2013.
Okay, I have seen that about 2 things. And I didn't see the revenue, but I see from the other side of the financial report.
This
And
is only a register of the claims. It's
Yes.
not indicating any revenue, it's only the register of claims.
Yes, I understand that. But for the future, if we see how much money we have together, so that we can see the balance. It's only for we paying how much, but I like to see over there together how much we have revenue during this time, and how much we're spending, and how much we cash balance left. So that way they help us to see the more clearly or extending I believe it's just several columns only needed to put it there.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Excuse me. Councilman Kim, the warrant register that's prepared for this particular item is only disbursements, cash disbursements, and it actually is a requirement that we do that because we are on a warrant system, and that is different than just paying checks. And the warrants have to be approved by the council. It has nothing to do with revenue or comparing revenue and expenditures together or doing any financial reconciliation. All of that is done later in the monthly financial report. And in the financial report, you'll see comparisons of revenue and you'll see expenditures, and there's a lot more staff report of descriptions, for both of those. But this is a pure description of warrants that were prepared during the month that the council must ratify or approve.
Okay, but I see the revenue from the monthly financial report. But for example, the first meeting, we don't have a monthly financial report, isn't it?
We have been preparing that for the second meeting because the first meeting won't give us a true picture of the prior month. We still are closing out the month by at least the 10th or the 15th of the following month.
Yeah, but my intention is whatever we have revenue comes in, those during short time, I like to see that one, how much we had the money coming in. So in a way, I understand the monthly report there. But in the first meeting, we don't have a monthly report. If we can see the revenue, at least to see it from there, it's going to be help us to how much we have in the short-term balance.
Well, again, Councilman Kim, the revenue and the expenditures, both are not all posted, not all received by the end of the month. A lot of the revenue that is for the period prior to this council meeting is in March. For revenue for February is even being posted and received as of today. A lot of the grant revenue, a lot of the tax revenue receipts are received at the end of the month of the following month or even later. So it's still a very difficult situation to be able to track that revenue and make any meaning out of it early on in the month with just maybe a half a month's receipts.
Well, again, it was not obligated, but I like to see money comes in to the same time how much we're spending. I like to see that one. And the other my concern is we still paying commissioner contract. So I asked the last time about the city lawyer, and I didn't get the answer yet. It's I believe any commissioners shouldn't have any contract with our city. That's entitled kind of like a conflict of interest. We should not to have any.
I think that's another issue, totally, altogether.
Yeah. If that's not on this warrant, on this list, maybe we shouldn't be discussing.
I see the name, that's why.
Okay. At this point, we are, remember, on this agenda is approving the list. And I believe that the questions that you have, you may want to have some time with our finance director and ask him those direct questions.
Yes, so I believe that one has to be addressed, has to be fixed. And the other one is we have a hunter employments.
Yes.
And we're paying a lot of hunter employments, not only the what's it called crossing guard, or what's called the traffic. We are paying the library and the recreational department paying through the hunter employments. So if that case, why we have to hire someone through the hunter employments, not by the city?
I think it's part-time staffing that needs to happen at certain times of the year, and we contract with Hunter to assist us with that. And there's so many hours that they work, and plus IVC.
Yeah, then we're wasting a lot of money then.
Okay. Can we go back to the agenda, please?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's where I see the lots of hunter employments
Okay, what is the
to
question?
payments. So that is my questioning is why we have to. I'm understanding the hunter group only had the contract for the traffic control, but now I see the libraries.
Councilman Kim, we use Hunter for part-time employees. They don't receive any benefits. They're paid an hourly rate that is substantially less than what we would pay if we were hiring them on a part-time basis, because we would be covering their workers' comp, we would be covering a lot of other things. But the rate that Hunter charges us is a very favorable rate because they hit the volume. The other thing is that for all part-time employees working for an agency or working for us from any other source must be monitored, and they can't work more than 1,000 hours in a fiscal year. The individual employee, each individual employee may not work more than 1,000 hours in a fiscal year. That's according to the law, the retirement law, CalPERS. And we would have no way of guaranteeing how many hours a part-timer might work if they were on our employee. So it really does work out to be much cheaper hiring Hunter and letting them provide the employees. And a lot of these people are traffic control, for instance, is not every day. It's when needed. And the library schedules their time mostly when needed. It's a lot more efficient use of the time.
Yeah, I believe more details. I agree with Mr. Hurtado. We should not talking here so all the contract. But I was questioning is why this Hunter group all different areas to doing it. So part timers we have to have benefit. You saying?
There are no benefits for.
So when we're using the Hunter group, we don't have to pay the benefit.
Correct.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so would you like to, Mr. Hodge, you want a clarification? Sure. On item number 2?
Well, on the claims here.
We're on item number 2,
Item number 2. Mr. Quinn, I don't see page numbers, but it's roughly, I think it's on the 7th page. Can you just expound on First Transit Incorporated, $28,000? What would that be regarding?
I'm sorry, what page again?
Well, I counted it, it's like the 7th from the...
There's a
beginning.
page number at the very
There
top
is?
on the right.
So what is it?
It's right at the 4. Isn't it right here? 8. Sorry.
Okay, page 8.
8?
Yes, sir.
First Transit.
That's the transit company we discussed at ICTC workshop today. I'm not, we give them money for what, regarding
Yes,
what?
that's an administrative charge for the month of January.
It's my understanding the city gets money from ICTC
And
and
then-
then pays First Transit,
All
but
right. We pay for the-
there's probably
So
a
it's not
better.
coming out of our funding or
No.
treasury? Okay. All right, very good.
Okay, I think we've exhausted quite a bit of questions. So on item number 2, Mr. Kim, would you like to motion for its approval?
I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Thank you. First by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote. Okay, thank you. Item passes 5-0. Item number 3 is next, Mr. Kim, that you pulled. Acknowledge receipt and file the 2012-2013 monthly financial report as of January 31st, 2013. Did you want to make some comments, Mr. Kim?
Well, more than comments, I have a little questioning. Let me go back to number 3. At the narration of the second page, the expenditures on the first page in of the revenue. You said we have more 2.5% more on sales tax. For the January.
What page is that, Councilman Kim?
After front page of the City Calexico, just first page in the narration, the overview, and next one is the revenue.
Oh, revenue?
You're questioning the amount of the sales tax?
The increase.
Yeah,
The
increase of sales
increase?
tax, and would you explain it to us to understanding how much increase or what?
I believe there's a statement made in the staff report that discusses one part of it discusses the lag in the sales tax by 2 months, but we're projecting based on what we know about the receipts and what we know from our sales tax consultants, that we'll see about a 2% increase in sales tax over the course of the year.
That's good.
So we're gonna have according to this revenue, we might gonna have about $200,000 balance left over end of the fiscal year.
That's what that says.
Yeah. And the next page, first line saying that we are spending about 4% less spending.
I'm sorry, I'm not, what page are we on?
Last page on the narrative, sir. Is that correct?
Yeah, first line, the overall expenditure are the 50% of the total budget. If tracked it on the straight line basis, they would be 58% now.
Okay, so if we were to take the budget and stretch it out for 12 months and divide by 12, you would, at the end of January, you would expect to see the expenditures be at 58-point-some%, about 58.3%. Instead, they're currently sitting at 54%, which is a good thing. It's lower than the 58% that would be projected. However, there is a little caveat there. In every one of the staff reports that we prepare, we mention the word encumbrances. And we believe there is roughly around $700,000 to $800,000 in encumbrances. And I would, to define what encumbrances are, they are committed funds but not spent. So we have to treat that as if it is spent in our government accounting records. But the encumbrances are not shown in the expenditure report because we don't have a method of breaking them all down just based on estimates. If we had those actual expenditure or actual encumbrances assigned to account numbers and pretty much spent, we would be able to break them down on the account record here, but they are not included in this expenditure sheet. So we always warn in the staff report that there are some encumbrances, and they total about $700,000 or $800,000 right now.
So we're doing pretty good. At the end of April, which is 3/4 of the year gone by, fiscal year, we should be at 75%, but we're at 58% or 54%, however you want to look at it. So we're doing pretty good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, the last one.
Thanks.
The same paragraph on the bottom, the general fund book operating cash balance as of January 31st, we have a $1.9 million, almost $2 million. But the saying is reconciliation, after reconciliations, the bank balance is going to be $2.7 million. So about $800,000, we're going to have more by the book. Same paragraph.
You're referring to the cash report now?
Yes, and the same paragraph, just right before the major H.
The top of the page, sir.
Yeah, top of the major H, so they have the general fund book operating cash balance as of January 31st, 2013 was $1,990,636.
Not 9 million.
Right. The bank balance as of January 31st, if you were to go bring up the account balance on January 31st, the bank balance was $2.7 million in cash. Our book balance was a negative in that we still had some receipts to record, and they were not recorded in the books. And it caused our balance to go a little bit negative. And we were expecting some receipts to come in January that had not materialized yet and didn't come in until February. So that number will change significantly in February. But we honestly are really not alarmed about the book balance because the books will catch up with the cash when the reconciliations are done.
Okay, so actually, our actual balance is like $1.9 million by the January 31st. Which is passed.
If you look in the book, you have $1.9 million. If you look in the bank, where the real cash is, you have 2.7.
2.7, because it's not paid yet.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
That's good.
If you don't have any further questions, would you like to motion for its approval?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Okay, do I have a second? First by Mr. Kim, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Thank you. Mr. Kim? Thank you. Passes 5-0. Mr. Gonzalez, you had stepped out of the chamber here when your item came up, and actually you have several here on consent agenda. You have 3, 5, 6, and 7. Would you like to make comment on those at this time? 3, 5, 6, and 7.
He looks rather comfortable sitting there. I don't think he wants to get up. You don't want to get up, do you?
We're going to go ahead and take your comments if you'd like to do that now, but you're going to do it on all 4 items, because we're now going to be moving on after your comments. But if you like to come up to the microphone, because no one can hear you when you speak from the seat there.
Oscar Gonzalez, I spent an enormous amount, maybe 48 hours, reading, and one of the most excruciating things that I found pathetically interesting was when the account lumps facts and figures with no explanation, and it has like a small paragraph, and one has to decipher. I know Mr. Kim, in one of the planning city council meetings, made a statement that we're probably on bankruptcy because what we're doing, we're piecemealing. And so that when you say 58% based on this year, but we're still behind, and even Oscar mentioned that. So when you look at those figures, they may or may not be accurate. And I'm saying for all things, and believe me, I spent a lot of time looking at them. But maybe all of you are scholars, and you were able to pick it up like that, but I found it confusing. And certainly I would think, I don't know if the administration or the account does it deliberately, but I would hate to be a policymaker because I wouldn't vote on anything for fear that it would come and bite us. Thank you. That's my comments for all of them.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. You're still up for number 8, 10, 11, and 14. Nope, well, I'll call you when we get there, though.
Same comment.
Okay, moving on now to the next part of our agenda, business items. Item number 8 is our next item, discussion and or action on consideration of the InfoSend Incorporated bill printing proposal.
Motion to approve that item.
Okay, do I have a second? Thank you. First and second. Please vote.
I have these questions.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kim, you didn't say anything. Go ahead. You usually jump.
Yeah, because the steps coming in, we just run to the motion to second. I think we need to have some.
Sure, go ahead.
Something explained from the staff. Yes, you have something
Mr. Kim?
to say?
Okay, so we want to go ahead and listen to what he has to say? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Quinn. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I think a couple of people want to go home soon or something.
Mayor and members of the council, the city finance department prepares and processes the city's water, sewer, and the refuse bills every month, and we have a bill printing service, which is at this point a company called CSG. They formerly were known as Data Pros. It is one of the largest, one of the two largest companies in this business of bill printing. They do a lot of other special mailings, modifications to the bills, and any number of other services that they provide. If we were doing mailings for Prop 218 for some purpose, we may use them for that. There are just any number of things that the bill printing company can do. However, we've had some difficulties in the past several months with CSG because they moved their mailing operation. That's one reason. And moving their mailing operation caused the mail to get to the citizens in Calexico as much as 5 days, even more, from the time the bills were mailed. It used to be about 3 days on average. So time is money. That's costing us dearly in terms of getting our money back, getting the bills paid. Other things are for things that comments we put in the comment section on the bills, and some of the other designs that we've been mandated to include on the bills. They've charged us dearly for in design changes. We're going to be moving toward scanning systems that will have a barcode, and the barcode will help people just scan and help us get the processing through faster and error-free, because we won't have humans typing in with long fingernails and missing digits. We have a number of other things that we want to do, and so we said we want to investigate how we can make this better and move things forward, and also keep up with the technology. And as you know, we have one of those cultural problems where we have an enormous amount of cash business at our windows. So we contacted InfoSend, which is the other big player, and we've also contacted other players, and in my own past experience, and I contacted other cities and got their analyses, and we included their analyses of InfoSend compared to CSG, and InfoSend comes out on top in just about any comparison you look at. And there's one key feature that we really like, and that is InfoSend has the ability to have a feature called Pay Near Me, which is a link up with 7-Eleven. And there's 7 7-Elevens in the city, and what you can do is go to a 7-Eleven and pay your bill in cash or check or however you pay it. You just go to the 7-Eleven counter and they'll scan your receipt. So it's not quite as restrictive as the California supermarket, although we probably keep them for a while. But the Pay Near Me offers the customers a lot other options that we can't offer them now. So we want to take advantage of that, and InfoSend really has a lot better technology and local mailing. So to us, it's a no-brainer, even though the actual dollar cost might be just slightly less. Feature for feature, InfoSend is much cheaper, and if you add them all up and at the end of the year, we come out less, we know we're going to be far more efficient. So that's what we're really basing this on, mostly the increase in efficiency and technology.
Okay, that sounds great. We trust that there was quite a bit of review, and you must have seen some demo. And the other question, I guess, now that you've explained all of that, would it have a way to adapt to maybe payments online in the future?
Yes, we are. That's not necessarily something that's, I mean, InfoSend has that, but it's also available with other vendors, so I can't say we're doing this simply because we want to do online billing.
It's also available with your bank.
But the online billing is a capability that we're going to be adding soon.
Okay, great. Okay, any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I have questions.
It's $5,000 a year they're saving. What could possibly, it's a good thing?
Yeah, but I see some other areas in the resolution.
Councilman Kim, it's all in the background there. Very thorough.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to reiterate. I was able
Does
to read it.
the balance of the council want to continue discussing this subject?
Not
on this item, no.
Yeah, we're asking you to approve a resolution.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
and the section 3, the city manager or designee is authorized to negotiate with InfoSend Incorporation for such additional bill printing services as the city may from time to time deem appropriate. So, section 3. So that means if we have, besides we have a contract, if we have more things to print out bill, we're going to use it, and without the council approve it, or they still going to make the deal and make the estimate?
Do we have to terminate the contract with CSG?
We will have to terminate the CSG contract.
So
yes.
then we should include a section in the resolution saying that the city manager is authorized to terminate the contract with CSG? Because you want to have just this InfoSend be the company? So
are you indicating that you're going to be changing then the resolution?
I would suggest that we insert, in addition to some of his comments related to the background on this, the idea that the city manager is authorized to terminate the contract with CSG pursuant to the terms of that contract. It may say 30 days notice, it may say, I'm not sure what it says at this point.
Okay, so at this point, are we going to be pulling this item then?
No, if you want to, if the council wants to approve the resolution, I would just suggest that modification to the resolution.
Okay, do you have an amendment to your motion, Mr. Moreno?
Sure.
Okay, can you repeat that then? The motion would be then
You
to,
was talking about section 3, correct?
I'd probably add it as a new section, that the city manager is authorized and directed to terminate the contract with CSG. And
Okay.
as I mentioned, add some additional language regarding what Mr. Quinn mentioned on the background.
Section 7.
Mr. Hodge, do you support that
Thank
second?
you.
Yes, I do.
Okay, please vote.
Slowly. There it is.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Next item is item number, yes. Mr. Hodge. Okay, item number 9, discussion and or action on award of bid proposal from Paso Robles Tank Incorporated in the amount of $6,071,966 for the 1, I believe that's mega gallon, and 4 mg and 6 mg water tank repair. And
Million
upgrade.
gallons, that's million gallons.
I'm sorry?
Million gallons.
Million gallons, okay. water tank repair and upgrade project.
I thought it was a sports car. Used to have an MG.
This is, Mr. Servine, this is for the whole reconstruction of the water tanks that were damaged. Much of this money is coming from Calima or FEMA, is that correct?
Both agencies.
So FEMA, 75% with Calima at 25%, with the city at 18, I'm sorry, with the Calima at 18%, with the city at 6% coming, where would that money, is that how it works, is that the formula?
Well, right now, we're committed with FEMA and Calima, approximately 68%, almost 70%. From that, we'll have to make up the difference with earthquake insurance and whatever operating funds that we have available. But the actual bid came in about $900,000 less than what our engineer's estimate was, which is very good. Now, all the estimates had a pretty nice spread. The one that came in second place was about 7% over to the lowest, and then 10% and 18% respectively. So we had some pretty good bids and a lot of interest. And so we hope to, by this time next year, have the tanks fully operational. Okay. And what's going to happen is we're going to tear down the 1 million and 3 million gallon tank, repair the 4 million gallon tank, prepare the site for a new 6 million gallon tank, so we'll have a total of 10 million gallons available.
And so a lot of this will be done in the wintertime when the water use is at a minimum?
Yes.
We're not going to do this in the summer?
Well, we have to start in the summer.
Okay, let's start.
But no, we're gonna delay taking down the tanks when we absolutely need to, okay. And we're gonna have a backup system there.
Okay. I'll motion for its approval.
I'll second that.
Go ahead, Bill, take over.
All right. Let's vote, please.
I do apologize. The one time that I thought maybe you'd be taking a little longer, you went a little quicker.
No, wait.
That's what you get for thinking.
Okay, I believe I heard a motion from Mr. Moreno and a second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Okay, you guys voted already. Thank you. Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving on then to item number 10.
Ms. Hurtado,
Yes.
I might have to excuse it because they have some swimming pool money there.
Okay.
Lawyer.
Mr. Kim, you'll be excusing yourself then to avoid the conflict,
Let me go
right?
let me go out of the room then.
Okay. And Mr. Gonzalez, you asked to be making a public comment on this item? Mr. Gonzalez?
Don't wake him
Oh,
up.
he's asleep. Shh, keep it down.
You're not going to make public comment on this one?
Just rest,
Okay.
Mr. Gonzalez. You look very relaxed.
The next is then Antonio Solano. Thank you, Mr. Solano, for waiting this long, but your item is up. I don't believe he's here
He was
anymore.
sitting right here.
Okay, poor guy.
The novella.
Okay, item number 10, next speaker is Norma Aguilar on item number 10.
Thank you. Norma Aguilar, 839 Heber Avenue. I'm speaking here as an individual citizen as well as an individual board member. I served on the Measure H committee. However, because of my role on the school board, I was never allowed to, or I did not participate in the discussion or the voting of these items. However, tonight I come to you to ask for your support of these items. The SRO funding addresses staffing of vital and necessary staffing at our schools. The crossing guards, if I'm not mistaken, is on there. Am I correct? Yes? Okay. And the final thing, and that deals with the safety of our children crossing to and from school. Finally, the last item is the pool. And the pool is something that is vital, not just for our children,
but our community, and I ask for your support. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Okay, gentlemen, what are the wishes of the council on item number 10? Okay, Mr. Hodge, you wanted to make a comment first?
Yes, I wholeheartedly support all these items, but at the same time, I definitely do for funding the SRO program, but we need at this point in time, because there was a point in time where the school district paid for this or helped pay for it. So next time, I think it's only right that we have more accountability, a report on their budget so that we can really see and justify that there is a need to do this. But at this point in time, I support this.
And I agree, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but requesting their budget, I'm not sure if that would be possible for...
Whatever they can provide for us that on paper, it justifies on their part that they really have a financial need in a sense of Measure H coming through.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
If I may. I've been working with the SROs for quite some time, and I know how that in the past they were fully funded by the school district. I spoke to one of our citizens today who was very concerned about this item, and I says, well, I believe that it is of critical importance to have our partnership with public safety, with police, first and foremost, because I see firsthand the excellent police work that they do in our schools, and I know that it's not a luxury to have them, it's a necessity. But I also am a proponent of making sure that the district and the school, in a partnership, eventually split the cost of the SRO and eventually pick up the cost of the SRO by the school district within the next 2 or 3 years. Nobody's going to dispute the fact that we need more police officers on the beat, but mostly in our schools, which have a population of around 10,000, which is 1/4 of the population of the city of Calexico. And our students need to be there, they need to be protected. And I, right now, am in support of this, but I'd like for our superintendent and I'd like for our city manager to come up with a plan to eventually split the cost, and eventually the school district, once it gets a little more financially stable, that it would pick up the cost like it did 5 to 7 years ago. But in fact, I would rather see another school resource officer to have 3 for our students, but that's my opinion. Anyway, so I'll motion for its approval.
Okay, before that, I just wanted to ask, is this what we were asking as a direction to the city manager, is to have those conversations then, because it is the wishes of this council to look at the manner in which we will basically disattach ourselves financially from this responsibility?
Yeah, and I mentioned it at the last meeting.
It's my wish.
If it is your wish to give direction to the city manager to have discussions with the school district.
It's my wish. I have a lot of wishes.
Just trying to make sure that when we say things about giving direction, we're all on the same page with the different direction that we all can come up with. So then, Mr. Mercado, you will ensure then to let Mr. Rodriguez know, even though he'll probably see this recording.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so then what is the wishes on the council on the item?
I motion for its approval, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, first by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Did you want to make a comment, Mr. Castro?
Yes, I'm supporting the issue related to the pool, but in public safety, I agree with Mr. Moreno that it's not a luxury to help with the police department. It's a necessity, but at the same time, the city of Calexico, we are talking about the budget of the city of Calexico is around $20 to $21 million in the budget for the school district. We're talking about $80 million. Is that right, Mr. Aguilar?
Mrs.
Mrs.? Yes? No, yes.
You were asking me a question?
Yes, I ask you. Is the budget for the school districts?
That's correct. One thing is budget, however, I'll caution you, and one thing is what revenues we have. And since I'm at the mic, I'd like to share that previously it has been requested to have justification, and previously it has been provided to the city, and I'm sure there's not going to be a problem for justification of expenditures to be provided again.
For justification?
Yeah. You
Justification
were
for the
mentioning
request.
that there was mention of wanting to see whether there was an actual funding necessity, and I'm saying that it was provided previously when previous requests were made, and it can be provided again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a first and a second.
Yes.
Please vote. We were in the process of voting, weren't we? Thank you, gentlemen. Item passes 4-0. Okay, next item is the item number 11. Mr. Gonzalez, you're down for item number 11? Item number 11 is the discussion and or action on revised first-time homebuyer guidelines. Would you like to speak on item number 11, Mr. Gonzalez? Thank you. Okay, item number 11 then, do we have any staff comments? Ms. Nava, did you want to make some comments before any discussion? Item number, I think we need to call Mr. Kim is back. Okay, one more time, discussion and or action on revised first-time homebuyer guidelines, item number 11. Anybody want to make any comments, or I could go ahead and motion for its
I
approval?
just want to ask, where is it? I don't see it. I had it. Where's this? Okay, funds have been shifted.
That's the public
We
hearing.
we're now allocating more. There was a list of where the money was going.
These are the guidelines.
Okay, maybe I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah, that's for the public hearing. We're on item number 10 on the...
Okay, thank you.
Did you have a question on number 11, Mr.?
No, I don't. I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, do I have a
Vote on it.
second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Mr. Moreno. Please vote. Mr. Kim?
Okay, you want to join us?
Okay, thank you very much. Motion.
you.
Item passes 5-0. Item number 12, consideration by Councilmember Moreno to remove his appointee to the Financial Advisory Board. Mr. Moreno.
Yeah, due to personal reasons, my brother Joe would request that he remove himself.
And that was then on your Financial Advisory Board.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have an appointee as of yet.
Okay. So thank you very much. Item number 13 is appointments by city council members to the following commissions and boards. 13A is Mayor Pro Tem Hodge. You have a vacancy in the Historical Commission.
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor, and I'm appointing Daniel Chides to the Historical Commission.
Okay, thank you very much. There's Dan. Congrats, Daniel. And item 13B is Councilman Castro. You have a vacancy on the Financial Advisory Board.
You know what? I'm going to keep the same commissioner, Cynthia Retana.
Oh, okay. So no need then to change?
No.
Go ahead and keep Cynthia.
Madam Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
I had a request from one of my Measure H committee members who resigned, and I have an appointee ready to appoint for Measure H.
Okay, so that'll be for Gabby to set up for next time? Mhm.
You advertise? You're advertising? Okay.
She's advertising at this time, so we'll have to wait for that one?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so we have then item 13 done. Next is public hearing. And I think that time up there is incorrect. It is.
Please say the clock.
Okay, so it's actually, all right. Okay, we're opening the public hearing at 9:54 PM.
This is it.
Is that correct? 8:54. 8:54? Okay. 8:54 PM. Okay, for number 14 is public hearing. to discuss the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, revised program income reuse plan, and solicit citizen input. A is the approval of resolution of the City of Calexico authorizing the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, revised program reuse plan. Okay, being that this is a public hearing, I'd like to have anyone who is in favor of this item come to the podium, please. Okay, being that there is none, I am now also calling anyone who may have anything to say against the approval of the resolution. Please come forward to the podium. Okay, being that there is no comments from the public on this item, do I need to close the public hearing and then receive comments from Ms. Nava?
You can leave it open for her
Okay.
comments.
Ms. Nava, you had some comments on this item?
Yes, I just wanted to share with Madam Mayor, with the council, and with yourself, and with the community, that what we are requesting is just to make some minor modifications to the breakdowns. The revolving loan accounts, what those are funds that are repaid back to the city from housing and first-time homebuyer programs and housing rehabilitation loans. And per the state, we are mandated to have breakdowns according to the 4 different accounts that we have for the funds that are received by the city, for housing rehabilitation, homeownership assistance, which is the first-time homebuyer program, business assistance, and microenterprise financial assistance. The last time we revised these was in November of 2011, but due to the big increase in need for first-time home buyers or homeownership assistance, we are requesting that we flip the 50% funds that are coming into the city to first-time home buyer and 25% to the housing rehabilitation. On the economic development side, we aren't touching those funds. We're going to leave them as is.
All right, now I understand. I had it the other way. So the shift is more to first-time home buyer.
Correct. We
Okay,
have
that's
a
good.
large need for
Right.
funds in that area, and we do have money available, so
Oh.
that's why we asked for the request for the shift.
Good move.
I just wanted to make a comment about the first-time homebuyer program. I think it's a great program. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
And what I have noticed and what I experienced in seeing a first-time homebuyer application is that the City of Calexico is ensuring that the homes that are being purchased are in the appropriate condition, following all rules, regulations, and codes, so that that home is safe for that person to move into. And I think it's a great program. I know that there's a lot of real estate agents out there that kind of fear that program a little because it is a little more tedious than a regular home loan program. But I feel that it's a great program, and I've seen a lot of people, I myself as a tax preparer have always promoted your program. And I know that you're promoting the program through like Mi Calexico and things like that, which is great. More people ought to know about this program. And it helped out a lot of families that I know of that probably couldn't have bought that home without that first-time home buyer program assistance. So kudos to the City of Calexico.
Thank you.
That's the word for tonight. Kudos.
Okay, any further comments? Okay,
I would just recommend you close the public hearing at this time.
yes, I'm gonna close the public hearing then at, is it 9 o'clock or is it 8 o'clock?
8:58.
Okay, at 8:58 PM. Thank you. Okay, moving on then to informational items.
Oh, wait, we have a resolution that the council needs to consider.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On item 14.
My novela.
Motion to approve the
resolution?
revised program for the CDBG.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, first by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hanch, for the approval of the resolution. Please vote. Okay, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on now. Informational items. Item 15 is acknowledge receipt of the business license delinquent report for the month of February 2013. Do I have an acknowledgement?
I acknowledge it.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I have some question on those.
You have a question, Mr. Kim?
When we gonna taking care of this one for the end of just keep coming up with just reporting, but we're not doing any actions, which
That might not be true.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are we working on it, Mr. Quinn?
Mayor and members of the council, I'd like to draw your attention to the schedule. We have a breakdown of 3 sections of the business license program. One is those people in those businesses within the city limits. You go for several pages and then you'll see those out of town, and then finally the swap meet. In between each section, there is a blank page. It's not exactly blank, but there is a page before the header page that has some numbers on it, if you'll notice. I'll just, if I can, draw your attention to the one that follows the within the city limits. The numbers, I'm sorry it isn't all tabbed and all that stuff for us, but we're on a cheap budget. The within the city limits activity for, as of February 5th, 2012, we had 334 delinquents. As of, or excuse me, 379 delinquents. As of February 5th, 2013, we had 408. So that's a drop of 45. So there is activity and there is improvement. And a lot of that improvement comes from not the finance department, but from the code enforcement people. They go out and our fire inspection crew of 1, they go out and inspect the businesses. They do the on-site work that's really necessary to make a determination, because frankly, there are very few businesses that when they close down or they decide that they're going to do something else, they don't bother calling the city and say, thanks a lot for everything, we're on our way out, we'll send you a closeout letter. Nothing, we get 0 communication from most of these people, and so they'll sit on the file for years. And because of the efforts of code enforcement and because of the efforts of our fire inspector, the people who are doing this on-site work, we've been able to clean out the files. There is fortunately some activity also in finance where we are able to make some collections and catch up on the past for a lot of the customers. But I think the biggest improvement that I've noticed in my short time here is because of the on-site inspection effort by those 2 bodies. And cleaning out that file to me is far more important, because without that clean out, we would be showing a lot more delinquent activity than really exists, and not be kidding ourselves here. So I'm very thankful to those 2 departments, and I just think the council needs to be aware of what the real story is there.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Okay. I believe that might have been to the satisfaction of Mr. Kim. As far as the business license delinquent report, yes, it has been in there, but we really appreciate all that work that you're doing on the inside of your department to clean up the past reports that we've taken a look at. So thank you for that improvement. Okay. Moving on then to the Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency Successor Agency, item number 16. Approval of resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico in its capacity as a successor agency to the Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, approving the recognized obligation payment schedule for the period of July through December 2013, and approving certain related actions. Ms. Lyons, did you want to make a comment on that one?
No, but I will make a quick comment. I wasn't anticipating one, but I would just like to say that as far as I understand, the Oversight Board has already approved this. It's already been sent up to the state. So this is ratification by the successor agency board.
Yes. I would also like to make a comment with regard to the successor agency, is that Mr. Romero, when Mr. Romero served as mayor, he was sitting on that oversight board. Now, I was asked if there needed to be any formal decision of who is assigned to that board.
I believe council already approved a resolution, and it was either in December or January, kind of as a cleanup issue when Daniel Romero left the council.
Okay. I just don't remember.
Yes, I'll go back and check,
Okay.
as well as Gabby can go back and check, but I'm quite positive we put something forward as a housekeeping item.
Go to our mayor, correct?
Okay.
Yes, that it would be the mayor's position.
Okay. Okay, and I did serve as chair that day, except there was a question that did pop up. So I just I didn't remember if we
So
had done
maybe
that.
once we find the agenda item, it can be provided to all the oversight board members,
Okay.
so they're aware.
That's great. Okay. All right, gentlemen, so what are the wishes of the council? Would you like to then motion for the
I'll
approval?
motion to approve this item, Madam Mayor.
Second.
Okay. Please vote. Okay, that is all for today. And thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.